Welcome, everyone, to the first City Council meeting of 2026. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. Could we take the roll call?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Pastor Parnell, could you lead us in prayer? Sorry, Liz.
Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here this evening. We thank you, Father, for the new year that is upon us, new opportunities. And so, Lord, we ask for your blessings this evening. We pray, Father, for the guidance of your Holy Spirit. Lord, we also ask that you continue your blessing upon our residents of Portage. Bless our firefighters, Lord, our police officers and their families. Protect them, watch over them. And then, Father, we ask for wisdom tonight as a council as we take care of the city's business. Thank you again for the privilege to pray and call you Father. Thank you for the gift of salvation through your Son. This we ask in the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Now, if we could do the roll call.
Mayor Bonta,
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Here?
Councilwoman Weidenbach,
Here.
Councilwoman Hurst,
Here.
Councilman Parnell,
Here?
Councilwoman Vasquez, Councilwoman Ambler,
Here.
Councilman Zilli.
Here.
Gets to communications, correspondence, and announcements from the mayor.
Mayor, real quick,
Oh, I'll go ahead.
two things. We skipped the minutes.
Oh, darn it.
But second thing, it's the first meeting, so we have to elect the council president, vice president, and do appointments for the year. It's not on the agenda, but we got to do that before.
I was going to bring it up under other business at the end because it wasn't put into the agenda when submitted.
I think we have to do that before we can do anything else, though.
Oh.
The law says we have to do it at the first meeting of the year.
So what the law says is that we select a president pro temp, but our ordinance states that there is a council president, which is mirrored with the president pro temp. So, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if it stipulates has to be the first thing on the agenda, but I think we can do the roll call, and I'm comfortable with doing that.
I mean, it's just not on the agenda, so that's why I brought it up.
Okay. The minutes. Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Again, I can figure we could wait for that at the end, or would you rather we do in the front? I just figured it was in the other business spot when I talked with Liz and the team about it.
I mean, typically, we've always done it at the front, but it wasn't on the agenda, period, so that's why I brought it up.
Sorry, that was an oversight.
Again, it got noticed late last night, and I said we'll just put it in the other business, but
Yes.
yeah. Again, I'm comfortable if you guys want to make a motion on it, you certainly can. But otherwise, I'll just bring it up at the end. So we have, hearing that, I'll bring it up to the business at the end. Communications, correspondence, announcements from the mayor. We've got a big council agenda today. But what I will say, just because I see that we've got somebody in the crowd or the audience, I just want to make sure that it is announced that as of this point, the house at the corner of County Line Road and Stone Avenue has had all of its asbestos abatement stuff completed. We did our permit, I believe that's correct, Tom? So hopefully within this week, we'll actually be, weather permitting and staff availability permitting, we'll be doing the in-house takedown of that house. So that's coming. And I think you got a haircut. It looks very nice. Your haircut looks very nice, too. Looks like it's new. All right, we'll go to the clerk treasurer's report.
Okay, I just want to say we made it through 2025, and now the goal is to make it through 2026 and all the years moving forward. I want to thank the department heads, the council, the mayor, save money in 2025 and carrying over into 2026. I can't thank my staff in the clerk treasurer's office enough for their dedication and devotion to the city. We are currently working on rolling over 2025 into 2026. It might take a couple weeks, might take a month. Once that happens, until it happens, you got all the department heads. I just want to give you a heads up, and the mayor, that you guys will be seeing, and the council, also our city attorney, that you will be seeing negative appropriation reports until we do roll the 2025 over into 2026. If there's any questions, just give me a call. I got an open door policy. Call me, come in and see me. In the future, if you have any questions about anything. Thank you, and again, thank the department heads for working with us to make sure that we made it through 2025. The mayor, budget committee, everybody who was responsible for helping us make it through 2025, and 2026 is looking a lot more positive than we thought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz.
We will go to the petitions, remonstrances, and public input. There's actually a couple of different opportunities for public input tonight because we have multiple matters with public hearings. But this is the general petitions, remonstrances, and public input time. So if you have anything you'd like to come and announce, state, feel free to come up. You can write your name and your address. What I'll do is I'll open it up for public input, and we ask that you try to keep it within about 2 minutes or so. Is there anyone here to come for some public input, petitions, or remonstrance? Hearing none, I'll close. And we'll move on to reports from standing committees. Anything from the ordinance committee?
Nothing to report from the ordinance committee this month. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. That gets us to the public hearing and second reading of ordinance, and we have a number of ordinances, A through F, all pertaining to multiple different matters. I wanted to ask our legal and Mr. Bowditch, if necessary, we have to do a public hearing on each one of these?
So, yeah, I would recommend that you call each, read each ordinance, the introductory language, and then call for any public input for each one. So there will be, A through F. They do need to be called separately.
Now, for second reading, they have to actually be read again, or can that be read by title by a council?
It can be read by title, yes.
Mr. Bowditch, would you maybe be comfortable just explaining just what these are ahead of time? Just it's so much as that we can read through, just to give us kind of a general idea, especially because we have people here listening. Then I'll do the readings and we'll open it up.
So before you this evening, and welcome to all the council members, and all my best in 2026. It's been a pleasure working with the City of Portage. But to answer the question, and to give you a brief overview, the 5 ordinances that are before you are bond ordinances. It is part of the process for the city to approve the process for the issuance of the financial incentive for the residential housing development programs to be constructed and incentivized. What this does is the bond ordinance sets the maximum amount of that bond. Please note that the Economic Development Commission has approved the recommendation for this to be brought before the council. That action was taken yesterday. This ordinance then is the council's action to accept that recommendation and then move on in the process to issue the bonds for a closing. It sets the maximum amount. The bonds are not a constitutional limit or obligation of the city. The only pledge of the payment of principal and interest on each individual bonds is the tax increment generated by the projects. So if there is a default, it is at the bond purchaser's loss. In this case, the developers are purchasing their own bonds. The risk is fully on the developer and the bond purchaser. So that, again, if there is a default or a shortfall of tax increment, they're not distributed the funds. So it's a function of whenever we do an economic development revenue bond, the intent of the redevelopment commission is to pledge the tax increment so that the risk lies solely on the bond purchaser and the developer, so that they've provided us their best information. If they underbuild it, it's at their loss, and they don't receive the funds. If there's more, if there are surplus funds available, typically the trust indenture will allow for an early redemption, if possible, to pay the bonds off earlier so the assessed value then can be released. I would defer to council if I provided a sufficient overview.
No, I couldn't have said it better myself. These also they've already received their first reading last month, and I have gone through them, and they are all legally sufficient from the attorney perspective, and I appreciate Mr. Bowditch's review from the financial perspective.
And if I may, one other thing to add is that the agreements that are pending with the developers are that they are to purchase their own bond as stated. And then once the bonds are purchased, the tax increment revenue that is to be generated for a period of anywhere from 3 to 5 years, the bonds will be issued at a 125% coverage. That means that the bonds are sized at 75% of the estimated tax increment. So if there's $100,000 of tax increment estimated, the bonds are sized at $75,000. That $25,000 would typically stay with the redevelopment commission for projects in the allocation area. So, for example, if a housing development project is phased in over 5 years, it will take about 3 to 4 years before tax increment comes in for the redevelopment commission to receive that slight 25% surplus. In this event, what we've done is negotiated with the developers who are purchasing the bond, once again, that 25% is averaged over the period of the bond term, and they will pay annually until their project pulls 80% of the building permits, or a period of their phase-in plus 2 years, that tax increment revenue imposed fee to the city, and those dollars can be used at the discretion of the city. The intent is to use it, and my understanding is use it for public safety, ambulatory, fire, and police. So this is a function also of returning money. No different if the city council were to approve a tax abatement and you impose a fee on that, and that fee comes back to the city on the tax savings. So it's a similar approach. So thank you very much for your consideration, and look forward to moving these projects forward.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you.
What I'll do is I'll ask Gina if you're comfortable reading. Dan, is it that we do the reading and then we'd open up the public hearing?
I think that'd be the most efficient, to go ahead and read and announce ordinance 2552, and then hold the public, then have any public comments, and then vote, and then move on to the next one. I think that'll be the most efficient. No, just the title.
Gina, I'll ask if you could read ordinance 2552, 2025 for Bond Bauer.
Ordinance number 2552, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the City of Portage, Indiana Economic Development Revenue Bonds and approving, authorizing other actions in respect thereto.
Cool. Does she need to say the
Yeah,
letter?
and let the record reflect that the ordinance has been read in its entirety.
What he said.
This time, I'll open up the public comment. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2552? Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2552? Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2552? Hearing none, I will close the public comment. And I'll bring it up for any discussions or proposals.
Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And it passed. All right. That gets us to ordinance 2523, 2025 Portage RHDP bond, Farmington. I'm so sorry. 53, 2025 Farmington. Councilman Parnell, could you read that one for us?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2553, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the City of Portage, Indiana Economic Development Revenue Bonds and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereto, Farmington project. Let the record reflect that the ordinance has been read in its entirety.
Motion to adopt.
Oh, wait,
Second.
actually, we have to do the public hearing. Sorry. See, these things happen, Colin. You think you're on a roll, and, I'll open the public comment. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2553? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 2553? Is there anyone here? If not, I'll close the public hearing.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
And it passed. Gets us to ordinance 2554, Portage RHDP bond for River Trace. Let's see, Penny, could you read that one for us?
Ordinance number 25-54, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the City of Portage, Indiana Economic Development Revenue Bonds and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereto for River Trace project. Let the record reflect this has been read in its entirety.
I'll now open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2554? Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2554? Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2554? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment. Any discussion or motions?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And it passed. That gets us to ordinance 2555, Portage RHDP bond, Sandy Trail. Melissa, could you go ahead and read that for us?
Ordinance number 25-55, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the City of Portage, Indiana Economic Development Revenue Bonds and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereto, the Sandy Trail Project. Let the record reflect it's been read in its entirety.
All right, I'll go ahead and open the public comment. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2555? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 2555? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 2555? Hearing none, I will close the public comment. Any discussion or motions?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Sorry, any opposed?
Nay.
And then that gets us to ordinance 2556, 2025 Portage RHDP bond, Swanson Trails. Ferdinand, could you read that one for us? Ferdinand, I'm sorry if you.
Yes, no
yeah.
problem. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Ordinance number 2556, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of the City of Portage, Indiana Economic Development Revenue Bonds and approving and authorizing other actions in respect thereto, the Swanson Trails Project. Let the record show that the proposed ordinance has been read in its entirety.
I'll now open the public comment for ordinance 2556. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2556? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 2556? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 2556? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment. And do we have any discussion or a motion on this matter?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And it passed. All right, what I'll say about all of those is that we have a lot of discussion in our city about what is the appropriate speed of growth in our community. There's people here today, I'm sure, who are looking to speak about what is the appropriate speed of growth in our community. These five matters that were voted on were the developments of agreements that bring in extra revenue to support our police officers and our firefighters, not just in equipment, but also in operations. We can't always go back and relitigate or relook at things that have already been approved in our city, but we should always be seeking out ways that we're getting the most revenue possible, especially when it's at such a time as this, and for something as vital as public safety. So I'm very thankful that these all passed, and I appreciate this from the council tonight. Thank you. And that gets us to ordinance 2557, 2025 Portage EDTAs. Mr. Bowditch, would you mind coming back and just giving an overview real quick again? To put you too much to work with the walking back and forth, Dan, but.
This is item number 10, correct? Or
BF
F?
2557.
So the ordinance before you this evening is an economic development target area, an EDTA. It is for the purpose of tax abatements or deductions to be applied. This has been recommended as a part and process of the residential housing development program, that the EDTA be designated. It is for the purpose of residential developments to receive a financial incentive through tax increment financing or other deductions. In this case, there's no residential tax abatement that I'm aware of, but it would be for tax increment financing. So for the purposes of this, bond council has recommended that the designation be approved for each of the areas.
Speaking from the legal side, can that, oh, do you have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
How is this different from the ones we just passed?
So this is a designation of an area. The previous ordinances are to allow for the bond to have a specific maximum and an interest rate and bond parameters. Yes. You're welcome.
It's a really good question. I was trying to figure out how to say it, so you said it perfectly. And, but it can all be voted. This is all one motion, right?
Yes.
Okay. And still a public hearing? Or, yeah?
Yeah, this is still another one to be announced, and any public input, yes.
I'll ask Colin, could you read that ordinance 2557?
Ordinance number 25-57, an ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, designating certain areas within the city as economic development target areas: Farmington Project, River Trace Project, Sandy Trail Project, Swanson Trails Project, and Bauer Farms Project. Let the record reflect this has been read in its entirety.
All right. I will open up for public comment. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2557? Anyone here to speak on ordinance 2557? Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2557? Hearing none, I will close the public comment.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And it passed. If it's all right, and if it's okay to run by with council, legal counsel, not you guys, the council, but other council, with the next one, with the ordinance and public hearing for Sweetwater annexation, I wanted to see if we could go first with the resolution on the fiscal plan. And I was wondering if that works. Dan, could you explain why that's
Yeah,
really
no,
the
that's
proper
fine.
way?
When recommending to the clerk treasurer how to set up the agenda, I typically recommend that ordinances be grouped together and resolutions be grouped together. In this instance, we have one petitioner coming forward this evening with a resolution for for a fiscal plan of an annexation, and then the first reading of the ordinance for an annexation. So that we group this one topic together, I would recommend that we go ahead and consider both at the same time. That just makes sense.
And if I understand correctly, and I say that as, you know, the fiscal plan is a document that's prepared by the financial advisor to go over basically the facts, material, numbers of the situation. And so really voting on a fiscal plan is not voting for or against a proposal. You're basically voting that you agree that it is a fiscal plan.
Yes, that's an accurate summarization, yes.
Basically, if you guys take a look at the fiscal plan and discover it to be a fiscal plan, voting yes means you agree it's a fiscal plan. If you look at it and you see a thing of your credit card statement, say, Mayor, something must have been mixed up, would that be one way to say it, Dan?
That's putting it in plain language, yes.
So with that in mind, I'll bring up the resolution for 2603, approval of the fiscal plan for Sweetwater.
We do have the petitioner here.
Oh, okay.
We may want to
Introduce?
open the floor to the petitioner to explain any aspects of the fiscal plan,
sure.
and then we can kind of vote on on the resolution.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
The fiscal plan's just being read quick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
this is a unique moment. We do have counsel for the petitioner here, and they probably have a presentation to make. So,
Well, if you don't mind, that'll be great.
Good evening. Let me see if we can't get our technology to work here with a little assistance. Okay. Just like downtown. Council, Your Honor, the Mayor, thank you very much. My name is Todd Leith. I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Altoff Homes. Kevin Pasco is joining me. We're here to ask you to do two things tonight. One, adopt the fiscal plan that was prepared at your request and under state law, but with our funds and monies to hire Sender and Company to prepare a document that is extremely well detailed. I believe that your council and the members of the council have received it. It does an analysis. Its purpose is to show to the community that the expected revenue generated by the homes within this proposed subdivision will outpace the costs to provide services, police, fire, streets and sanitation, all of those things. And I'll address that at the end of my presentation when I'm talking about the ordinance and the annexation of that. So this property is located just east of Bauer Farms on the south side of County Road 700 North, and just east, if you will, and maybe we can fire up a laser and I can point to it. So Swanson Road is, is right here, 700, and then our property is just under 47 acres. And we're asking to be annexed because we are not currently within the boundaries of the city of Portage. What we are not asking, and what this petition doesn't grant, is a subdivision plat. So what we have is a concept plan that you'll see with a divided zoning. Your ordinance requires us to go to the Plan Commission first. That is not a step in state law annexation. So we did that, and on November 3rd, your Plan Commission recommended that the zoning districts of R4 and M1 consistent with our concept plan. Again, here's the property and the boundaries showing the connectivity that exceed the statutory requirement of commonality with the existing property lines. So we meet the contiguous requirement of state law. And this is our concept plan. And again, County Road 700 is on the north, and this is a split or mixed residential proposal. And we have 104 units in the R4 single-family district, and that's the tan lots on the south side. And we have proposed 44 homes or 22 buildings and lots in the paired cottages, and that's in the salmon or pink-colored area in the northeast. Olthoff Homes, I think you're familiar with. They're a regional local builder based in Lake County, but they build throughout northwest Indiana and actually even beyond. They've been in business for quite a while. I believe this is the second generation of ownership, and they are well-known throughout the community. I think they do a fine job. I've represented them for a number of years. This particular layout has 25, almost 26% open space, with a large area of detention both in the northeast corner, the central part, and you'll also note that there's a park, small pocket park, as they're somewhat called, in the center for the residents. This is a proposed subdivision, but we have to return to your Plan Commission, if you grant this approval, for the subdivision aspect of it. And as you all know, your city ordinance has an entire requirement for the process to go through subdivision, with a detailed review by engineering, by the planning department, in Mr. Cherry's office, and we prepare the plat of subdivision and go through that project. We also are proposing development commitments. And that's embodied in a, again, rather meaty document that we've prepared and submitted to you. I updated some dates and provided that to your council for his review between now and your next meeting when you make final adoption. But what this development agreement does is it holds our commitments to be enforceable, not only to us, but if we were to sell or flip the property, anyone else that acquired our rights would have to follow this agreement as well. It covers all sorts of things. As I indicate, it incorporates the concept plan. We can't increase the number of lots. We have to stay there. Home styles, landscaping plan, all of those things are built in and made a part of the development agreement and become a commitment. If you grant the annexation and the rezoning, become a commitment of this developer or any other. So this is just a zoning exhibit. This shows, from a legal standpoint, the legal descriptions of the two zoning classifications. And then I've kind of been pulled on spot to talk about the fiscal plan. I'll return to that. Again, that one page says it all for me. It provides that at the end of the anticipated build-out of these 148 homes, that the city would be approximately $151,000 to the good. In other words, the cost of services is lower than the expected revenue by about $151,000 a year. Throughout the entire ordinance, or I'm sorry, the fiscal plan, which is your resolution, it details all of those things very dramatically as far as what those costs of services are in their analysis. I don't have anyone here from Sender and Company to address any specific questions, but I'll be darn happy to try and answer those questions if you have those. So with that, I am going to pause, and I'll take your questions and those from the public.
So going back to my question about the fiscal plan, my understanding of it as a document is that it's a document that was prepared for the council to receive. And so, Dan, I think the reason that you recommended that the fiscal plan be voted on first is because essentially we're receiving it ahead of the consideration. Is that the way to see it?
Yes, I mean, and also the council has it to review. If there are questions, this is the time to ask. So, but again, the resolution is simply approving the fact that a fiscal plan has been presented and that it is, a complete document that does demonstrate the positive impact. I mean, you're reviewing this
As assessed by the company that they
by the
brought in.
company.
Yeah. I mean, you have to agree with the concept, but you're agreeing that it is a fiscal plan, basically.
Yes, that it is a fiscal plan and that you see that they've, performed the analysis and that you see the quality of the analysis.
So on that note, I'll bring up the matter of the fiscal plan itself. Are there any questions, discussions, or motions on it?
How many years is the build-out?
Six.
And I'm not sure if this is an appropriate question or not, or if you can even answer that, but I'm going to ask it. Does that excess of $151,000 per year take into account the new SEA 1?
It's a really good question, I think, for sure. So the question, I believe, just to restate it, with SCA 1 and the impacts on what that does to Indiana's tax formula, this fiscal plan was designed knowing what the law is going to be under SCA 1. Is that correct?
I would answer that with a cautionary tale that that's a little bit beyond my expertise, but I believe that to be true.
Knowing that Cinder Dalton, I think that it would be.
I would assume it is. There's a note per SEA 1. The current structure to collect local income tax revenues will change as of 27, 28. So you'll notice there's a line for lit revenues in year 2, but nothing for 3, 4, 5, 6. Page 14. Because it assumes that we don't adopt a local income tax. They can't plan for money that they don't know for sure we're going to have. So I would assume that if they're doing that for income taxes, they also use the new property tax changes. I mean, obviously, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to assume if they did it for income taxes, they would have done it for property taxes.
And I think that's a good observation, and thank you for the commentary. The other thing that I'd like to say is SEA 1 really was focusing on how government is funded, not how property is taxed so much. So this is all about how property is taxed, really.
I think noting, just for like your example, Colin, there, when it compares the lit, it assumes, or has to at least base, that we're not going to do a lit, because it wouldn't be, they couldn't show us all that. But understanding that, of course, the way that the financial situation changes come SCA 1, that's something to be aware of.
Yeah,
even
right. I
looking
mean,
at
these
this.
numbers would be slightly different if not for SEA 1.
But I say that
Yeah.
because that's not an opinion
Not
piece
much.
within this document, but it's something for us to consider. There's facts in the document that we might then look at and say, well, wait, how is the situation going to change if we do X
Right,
in
I
the
think it would
future
be,
or don't
what,
do
like
this?
$300, potentially $300 a property annually, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I say, the purpose of a fiscal plan is not that it's a plan that you're agreeing to implement. It's information for you guys to accept, to be able to study between, now and February, when this is a matter, up to vote. Voting against this is really a statement that you don't believe it's a fiscal plan that's of like sound put together by a firm. Voting for it does not mean that you're for, basically, it's not a for or against the annexation. It's, do you agree that this is a prepared for fiscal plan? It's very similar, I would almost say, to reading the minutes. When you're checking the minutes of this meeting, do you agree that they're accurate minutes? Whether or not you agree with everything we said in them is a different matter.
Yeah, and one thing, and Penny, thank you for bringing that up, because I would assume also that this doesn't account for our recent changes in garbage fees. Because those were just, late
recently
last year. I
passed.
don't know when this was written, so.
Yeah, so Sender and Company is very diligent. They have contacted each of your departments, so it may very well have been considered.
I want to reiterate what Mr. Leith said. They did contact all the departments. They contacted my department to find out what the increases were going to be for garbage and for sewer.
Well, I will make a motion to approve the fiscal plan.
I'll second.
We have a motion, and we have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passed. That'll get us to the matter of the introduction of the ordinance itself and public comment. Gina, would you mind reading the ordinance for 2601 Sweetwater annexation? No problem. We're actually doing pretty good on time. I was like, oh, is this going to be a really long meeting? We're yeah.
Portage, Indiana Common Council Ordinance Number 2601, annexation of certain contiguous area of real estate consisting of two parcels totaling approximately 46.259 acres in unincorporated Porter County, Indiana Portage Township, locally generally at the southwest corner of the intersection of County Road 700 North and County Road 625 West, and declaring the same area to be part of the incorporated jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction, there's a
Jurisdiction, that
typo in
was
there.
Spelt wrong. And within the city limits of the city of Portage, Indiana, pursuant to Indiana Code 3643.
For the record, the typo's on me. I apologize.
Thank you very much. And then it's been read in its entirety.
Let's say that it's been read in its entirety.
Great. And with that, what I will do is I will open up for public comment. When you come up for public comment, I urge you to be respectful, polite. Everybody here is ready to listen. What I ask you guys to do if you come up to speak, if you have any questions, I'm going to write down every question asked, and after they're asked, I'll repeat them to the petitioner. We are not voting on this matter tonight because by law, there has to be a gap between when it is heard and then the second reading, which happens in February. So on that note, I will open the meeting for public comment. Is there anyone here to speak on ordinance 2601? Come on up, sir.
How is everyone today? I do have extra copies of what I'm going to read if you guys want them.
Please.
You're welcome to bring them up.
What do you want on here, my name and address?
If you could write your name and your address, yes. And the reason for that is, well, basically, it's, part of the process itself. If there's ever an issue later, we want to be able to, find you and essentially know that you were a citizen participating.
Okay, first I will apologize on the second page. I had to cross out a section because since I was last here, you guys have changed the way you do things, and you did make the petitioner go to the Planning Commission first. That wasn't established last time with Bauer Farms, so I appreciate that. Good evening. My name is Don Pavey. I live at 662 North, 625 West, Hobart, immediately south of the proposed annexation of 700 North and 625 West. When you showed the map before, I was the third lot from there. I'm here tonight representing myself and my neighbors who are directly impacted by this proposal. I want to be candid at the offset. We are not under the illusion that anything said this evening will necessarily change the outcome of the council's decision. Based on past experience, it feels as though many of these decisions are determined long before residents are given the opportunity to speak. Nevertheless, we feel compelled to go on the record because what is happening here has serious lasting consequences for our community and for the city of Portage. When we purchased our properties in unincorporated Portage Township, we did so intentionally. We chose this area to live outside the subdivision life, to raise our families in a quiet rural setting, and to create peaceful homes surrounded by open land. Over time, my neighbors and I have invested significant effort and resources into building this environment. That way of life has been dramatically altered. The prior mayor and council approved an annexation and development of Bauer Farms in a special off-hours meeting. Since then, our daily lives have been inundated with construction noise, increased light pollution, constant neighborhood noise, and trespassing. What was once open land and a natural landscape is now a wall of rooftops and artificial lighting you can see through the trees. As a result, my neighbors and I have been forced to spend thousands of dollars on fencing, barriers, and security measures to simply protect property that was once naturally secure. If I have not made this clear, our quality of life has been severely affected, and the proposed annexation and subdivision would complete the destruction of what remains. I raise these concerns because there are four major issues that must be addressed. First, zoning and density. The City of Portage and the developer are attempting to box existing rural homeowners into another high-density R4 subdivision, an inner-city-style neighborhood that is entirely inconsistent with the surrounding area. I was directly told by a council member that the area of Bauer Farm R4 was made R4 because the developer would have pulled out otherwise. In other words, the zoning decision appears to have been made and driven by the developer pressure, not sound planning. The reality is simple. The only reason the developer wants an annexation is because the county will not approve an R4 subdivision. That alone should be a red flag. This annexation does not benefit the residents living nearby and does not benefit the City of Portage. It benefits only the developer. There are already numerous subdivisions being built throughout the city. This one is unnecessary. If the council proceeds with the annexation, despite these concerns, then at a minimum, this property should be approximately zoned R1, consistent with its surroundings. Second, city services and the financial impact. When Bauer Farms was approved, it was acknowledged that the cost of providing city services, fire, police, and EMS placed the city of Portage approximately $500,000 in the red. That's a low number from what I understand. The financial impact apparently did not detour the approval. So my question is simple. How much further in the red will this proposed subdivision push the city? I heard what the lawyer said. I don't agree with those numbers. Who is paying for the long-term operational costs? Residents deserve a clear and honest answer. Third, drainage and flooding concerns. Drainage in this area is already a serious problem that was never corrected. The county engineer previously identified and reported multiple drainage violations related to Bauer Farms development in this area. Shortly thereafter, the engineer was replaced, and those violations seemingly disappeared without resolution. And this is not theatrical, or theoretical, I should say. Just recently, Willow Creek was closed due to flooding. There is a major natural drainage pathway running east to west across 625 north, 625 west, typo, that was flooded also. If this proposed subdivision is approved, existing drain tiles will be damaged, natural drainage will be disrupted, and the developer's plan, I'm assuming, is to raise the grade of the land to equal Bauer, will exacerbate flooding on the surrounding properties, including ours. So I ask plainly, when the properties flood, who will be held accountable? Will it be the developer or the city of Portage for allowing it? Fourth, traffic and safety. Traffic on these county roads is already strained beyond what they were designed for to handle. We have Bauer Farms, and I'll just say all the subdivisions that were just listed prior with the ordinances. With an average of 2 vehicles per household, all the traffic is being forced onto county roads that were never built for this volume. I know traffic studies exist. I also know they show that what developers need them to show, but no traffic study accounts for sitting 10 minutes at a stop sign or being 10 cars deep at Willow Creek or Swanson during peak hours. And to add to that, my neighbor Luke sometimes can't get out of his driveway for 10 minutes because of all the traffic. Until you sit in traffic daily, studies are meaningless. Once again, I will ask, who will be accountable when congestion becomes a safety issue? In closing, this proposal is not about responsible growth. It is about expediency and the developer convenience. The residents most affected were not meaningfully considered, and we continue to pay the price for decisions made without our input. I urge the council to either deny the annexation outright or at the very least require development that respects the existing rural character, infrastructure limits, and the residents who already live there. Thank you for your time. Any questions for me? Thank you.
I agree, thank you. I have one question for you.
Yes.
As a resident in an unincorporated land, do you, or if you can speak to your neighbors, frequently practice target shooting on your properties?
Absolutely. I have a target range that was, I was told by the city of Portage was a safe range prior to the Bauer Farms being put in. I've also measured my range according to state standards, and I'm within 5 yards, so I will continue to shoot on my property.
Is it also true that you or your neighbors' berms run parallel to the backyards of some of the Bauer Farms residents?
I'm sorry, the berms?
Yeah.
Is that what you call them, for those big structures for targets?
Oh, no, so one neighbor has his set back by Bauer Farms. He will not shoot there. He's a former police officer. He'll shoot at mine because that's within the correct limits.
I just wanted to raise awareness that you guys live in an area where that is allowed, and
Yes.
annexing the property
Won't stop
could
it.
affect that.
Well, I have to measure it off. I'm not sure if it's going to affect it or not yet. But we will, everybody continues to shoot out there.
Have you, any of you approached the Traffic Commission about getting a stoplight or stop sign? Because I know your area is through there as well, the traffic.
I can speak to that a little bit. They did do a traffic study for Bauer Farms, which indicated that with the Bauer Farms subdivision, we are on the verge of requiring a traffic light at 700 and Willow Creek. So I'm not sure if this developer would be willing to foot the cost for that, but I'm guessing that the additional homes would push us over that limit.
Thank you very much.
Right? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak on the ordinance? I apologize, I'll make sure I got the number right. 2601? Is anyone else here to speak on ordinance 2601? Anyone else here to speak on ordinance 2601? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Under normal circumstances, if we had a vote after, I think that we would be, a lot of this will come up later. I just want to make sure that something is stated, though. In the document received from at least, the one remonstrator, is that the city is not attempting anything. Everyone has the ability to petition a government with a petition. In this case, it is an annexation petition. This is not the city council, although they have the ability to propose ordinances and work with the general council to create them. This is not like the federal government, and it's not like the state government, where every piece of legislation has a sponsor. If you are somebody who owns property, and it's property adjoining the city, you have the ability to submit a petition to be annexed into the city. And if you're willing to do the work involved to get to this step, we get you to this step. It's not something that the city itself says no to at the very beginning, nor can we say yes to at the very beginning. Beyond that, I don't know if there's a lot I can say directly back, other than the fact that I took notes of what you said, and I'll share that with the council ahead of, I think, our next vote come February. But of course, the council is able to say what you guys like as well. If no other statements, we can move on then to the transfer of unsold commissioner's property to the city of Portage.
Mayor, did you want to give me the opportunity to respond to some of those comments, or?
I think you're welcome to. If you would like, I could do that.
Well, just very briefly, I won't take more than 5 minutes, but I think the density of our proposed Sweetwater subdivision and Bauer Farms is vastly different. This is not a high-density development. We've got 47 acres nearly, with 148 homes. Clearly, the paired patio homes have a higher density than the single family. Althoff Homes has been in the business a long time, I said that earlier. They know what the market is, and the market is drifting towards the smaller homes. Good planning suggests that you provide for what is there. We talked about a 6-year takedown. A lot of subdivisions are 10 and 12-year takedowns. The market affects that more than anything. The purpose of us seeking annexation isn't because the county wouldn't approve us. The purpose of us seeking annexation is because we want your utilities. That's the hard truth of it all. Let's be honest. We couldn't build this in the county on septic systems, and you wouldn't want us to, because we would have 40 septic systems, ticking time bombs for the environment. That's not good planning. So putting these homes in the city, in municipalities, is good planning. And that's why we're here, because you have the utilities. The financial numbers were challenged, but not in any detail. I don't know what he thinks is wrong with our analysis, but it's not my analysis. It's Sender and Associates. Your clerk treasurer confirmed that they contacted each one of your departments to find out what the numbers are. I feel confident that the numbers pan out.
The last thing that was talked about was drainage, and I indicated this isn't a subdivision plat. This isn't the final say. If you annex us and we go to the Plan Commission and they say no because the drainage doesn't work, we don't have a subdivision. So we have steps to follow, and we're frankly quite a ways away from being able to put shovel in the ground. And your departments, your Plan Commission, have to approve that next step beyond our zoning and our annexation petition. So those were my brief comments. Mayor, I appreciate your time. Members of the council, of course, thank you for yours, and I wish all of you a happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, unless there's any other questions or comments, we can go to the Resolution 2601, transfer of unsold commissioner's property to the city of Portage. Councilman Parnell, would you mind reading that one for us?
Certainly. A resolution of the Portage Common Council requesting transfer of unsold commissioner's sale property to the city of Portage, resolution number 26-01. Let the record reflect that the resolution has been read in its entirety.
Thank you so much.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, could you please signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passed. That gets us, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Farch Portage. If I didn't pronounce that right, I'm so sorry to the company.
If I may speak for a moment, I was literally contacted earlier today by this petitioner, and they would ask that this get tabled, essentially. There were certain information that they wanted to present on behalf of this request that is not available yet, and they would like to return in February.
I'll make a motion to table resolution, 2602.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed. So getting to matters not already to be considered, but what should have been considered is the election of a pro tem or president pro tem, commonly called the council president. I do not recall, and I'll turn it over to kind of our legal counsel, whether that is a simple motion with a second, or if we do that a little bit more like parliamentary style.
No, it is legally sufficient to just simply do oral motions for a vote like this.
I make a motion to have Colin Zilli as president.
I make a motion to have Victoria Vasquez stay on as president.
Second.
I'll second Councilman Zilli's nomination. So I believe in the past, I'm sorry to interrupt, there's a nomination and then a vote on that person, and then it's like multiple rounds. I believe that's how we did it
Well, the last time
year.
we did it, there are two people nominated, you vote for a person by name. If a person gets a majority, boom. That's how we did it in '25. It was the first time it ever happened where two people got nominated, so.
I mean, given the past precedent, that sounds perfectly fine to me. Again, I mean, it's your council. If that's the way you want to do it, that is also legally sufficient, so.
Yeah, we're about to find out what the answer to that question is. I assume. So I think we do a roll call, right?
Liz, you can proceed with the roll call.
Councilman Alvarez,
Councilman Zilli,
okay. Councilwoman Weidenbach,
Victoria Vasquez.
Councilwoman Hurst,
And Councilman Zilli.
Councilman Parnell,
Councilwoman Victoria Vasquez.
Councilwoman Ambler,
Councilwoman Vasquez.
Councilman Zilli.
Councilman Zilli.
We have a tie.
Can the mayor break the tie on this? I don't know. It's
It
never
is-
happened.
Yeah, it is my understanding that the mayor does break ties on votes for the city council.
But for the nomination of officers or for ordinances and other resolution matters?
So the awkward spot there is that, in my opinion, and Dan, I can let it, state, simply, by state statute, for a third-class city, which Portage is legally, there actually is no council president. It's just a pro tem, and all it actually means, according to state statute, is when I'm not here because I'm on vacation or sick, it's the person who chairs for me. Within the city ordinance or within council bylaws, I'm not sure which is which, it references a president that I'm sure
Well,
has
it's a little
usually
bit more
gone.
important than that.
Yeah,
Because
because of the committee
if
side, yeah.
the mayor vacates the office, the council president pro tem becomes acting mayor.
And that's fair, too.
Until there's a caucus. So, I mean, it's a bit
Oh,
more
yes.
important than you just being out of
Sure.
town. Yeah, and that happened.
Yeah, for 10
also.
days about, yeah.
We actually had that happen, so it's not a thing that can't happen. Not saying, Austin, that it's gonna happen.
Right, but you never know.
It can happen.
I could get struck by lightning out of here. Think on that matter, I guess the question that I would have there is, because we, as a city, have historically assigned other responsibilities to a council president, which I think speaks more to ordinance or bylaw, are the two jobs really linked? Because if we just had a pro tem, I think it's pretty easy to say that it's just a tie-breaking, type situation, or you could even postpone it,
I mean, quite frankly, I'm going to need some time to research this, and I realize that this needs to be decided right now. So if
And we
you'd
could
like
try
to
to
take a
wheel
recess,
Victoria
I
in
mean,
here,
I will
but-
start looking this up, but, I mean, this is not something that typically, folks know off the top of their head.
I mean, the code says the subsection applies only to third-class cities. The city executive shall preside at all meetings of the legislative body, but may vote only in order to break a tie. At its first regular meeting under Section 7 of this chapter, in each succeeding January, the legislative body shall choose from its member a president pro tem to preside whenever the executive is absent. It doesn't say anything about what ties the mayor can't break, unless the law says the mayor can't break a tie, which there are some limited circumstances. So I would assume the answer is yes.
Were you reading off Indiana code or local?
Yeah, that's IC 36468, subsection B.
My heart won't break either way, Yeah, they're wonderful people, just, I like that this is the hardest part of the meeting. This is great. We got a pretty good crowd here.
So if you're talking about 36468, okay, but that one applies only to second-class cities.
Subsection B.
Got it.
I'm pretty certain the answer is yes.
In the event the answer later upon further review turned out to be no, I mean, we could correct that in a following meeting, right?
Yes, we can absolutely correct that after because I'd like to look at any case law on this, which I cannot reasonably be
I
expected to.
promise I'll try to do
yeah.
everything I can to stay alive between now and February,
I
worst
mean,
case.
the ordinance says shall vote, it doesn't say shall elect, I don't think. So I think we've done our part to vote on it.
Now we're getting very creative, but I like it. Hypothetically, what would have happened if I wasn't here today?
Oh, no, it says shall choose from its members, so, yeah, we've got to pick somebody.
Colin, only because you got it in front of you, could you reread the section B one more time, just straight through?
Yes, this subsection applies only to third-class cities. The city executive shall preside at all meetings of the legislative body, but may only vote in order to break a tie. At its first regular meeting under Section 7 of this chapter, and each succeeding January, the legislative body shall choose from its members a president pro tem to preside whenever the executive is absent. That is all it says.
So,
I'm going to go with you can break the tie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing also, is that the city executive shall preside and break the tie. Since there's no explanation language after that for what types of votes, it just says to break a tie, and you're the presiding, and the mayor is the presiding officer of the legislative body. So, yes, in this case, it's my interpretation that the mayor can vote to break a tie.
I just refuse to break a tie? I don't actually know what that entails, like. uh. I will cast my deciding vote for Victoria. Colin, I think you're an awesome guy, but yeah, we'll have Victoria on this one. In the event that turns out to be legally not sound, we can figure out what to do next. Okay?
Yeah, I'll dive into some case law on this one in between meetings.
That's not required by statute, so if you'd like to propose somebody, you certainly can.
I'd
But
like to
that's a council decision, you know, still, I guess, with this tie thing, at least for now.
Yeah, I think our ordinance says we have a vice president, but law doesn't require it. Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Melissa Weidenbach for vice president.
I'd like to make a motion for Ferdinand for vice president.
I will second Ferdinand Alvarez.
I second myself.
Any other nominations? If there's no discussion, I think, Liz, you can call roll.
Councilman Alvarez,
Alvarez?
Councilwoman Weidenbach,
Weidenbach.
Councilwoman Hurst,
Alvarez.
Councilman Parnell,
Melissa Weidenbach.
Councilwoman Ambler,
Councilwoman Weidenbach.
Councilman Zilli.
Councilman Alvarez.
We got a tie again.
And I'll go with Ferdinand. Thank you. Any other matters to come before the council?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.